Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. 1606, possibly the first performance of Macbeth by our friend Willie Shakespeare. A little Macbeth for us to start this evening. How's everyone doing? On this beautiful August evening. Episode 68, day 219 of day 365. We're going to have meteors. It's the Perseids, 12th and the 13th. So if you're looking for some cool astronomical stuff, look up. The full moon's on the 9th, so that's going to be a problem. It's the Sturgeon moon. I only bring up the moon stuff because I was talking about the spaceship. Well, finally, the Hubble came out and said, it's a comet. It's not an alien spaceship that's zooming through the wilds 213 million miles away. It's a comet. So it's like Atlas 7362-12 or something. I forget exactly what it is. But it's a comet, so we don't have to worry about the spaceship when I talk to the whales or something else going on with a Star Trek episode or Star Wars or something coming out of cloaking. So apparently it's just a comet, ladies and gentlemen. But also NASA's in the news because I guess we're going to go build a nuke power plant on the moon by 2030, coinciding with when China said it's going to land with people and establish a base on the moon. So we got to beat China to the moon now. Even though we're slashing budgets for everything, we're going to go ahead and get to the moon with a nuclear power plant, apparently. Hello, my friend Don. How are you? So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can get a job going to the moon to work in a nuclear power plant. I'm going to be like Homer Simpson eating donuts on the moon. Ooh, that would be really ridiculous, wouldn't it? Anyway, today, National IPA Day. Did not have an IPA today, sorry. It's also National Purple Heart Day. Now, the reason it's National Purple Heart Day, because I did find it out. Purple Heart, sorry. 1782, commander of the Continental Army, George Washington, who eventually became the guy in the dollar bill. He went ahead and he created a couple of honors. One of them was the Badge of Military Merit, which turned into what is today the Purple Heart. So that is why it's Purple Heart Day. So I knew there had to be some historic significance to it, but that's the actual reason for it. Today is also Raspberries and Cream Day. Didn't have any raspberries or cream, but I will have the remainder of my Haagen-Dazs ice cream tonight after I'm done. It's also National Sea Serpent Day. I did look up what the sea serpents are. So they're referring to everything from the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, to stories of sailors back in old of, the Kraken and everything else that we've seen from mermaids to, giant whales and everything else, Moby Dick. So that's Sea Serpent Day. So it's all the tales of sea serpents throughout history. It's also National Lighthouse Day. I didn't look that up. I was thinking about, there's a couple of lighthouses on Aruba. And I remember the crazy story from Aruba, not the, what's her name, getting lost and killed out there with a Dutch dude. But Aruba, I think it was the first time I went to Aruba, went for a walk, long, way too long walk. Walking down the beach like for miles and miles and miles, and got over to where the lighthouse is, and they have wild goats on the island. They're stinky ass goats, just really stinky ass goats. But while walking out in the desert area where the goats were, I found a goat skull that had been bleached and worn and pretty beat up and such. And it did make it back from Aruba. I packed it and it made it back. I don't know where it is now. It may be in a box somewhere. It may have gotten tossed out, moving at some point. But at some point, I brought home a crazy goat skull. Very, very cultish, satanic looking for sure, because it had been in the sun for a long time. So it had rotted a bit. You know, the features were gone from the face a little bit, and the horns were kind of jagged and a little bit decrepit. So definitely could be misconstrued. Went through customs and everything, did not claim it. Went through the X-ray machine, didn't get busted for it. This was some time ago, so I don't remember if it was pre 9/11 or not. But yes, there was a crazy lighthouse there. I think the first time I went up a lighthouse was in New Jersey, and I remember getting like halfway up and having an absolute, complete, and total panic attack because I looked down and the stairs are hollow. They're just metal grates, so you can look down and it's just kind of like against the wall, like, ah. I since then have gotten over that fear of, it's okay, I understand that it's not going to collapse. But you know, I think that was the very first time that I did that. Panicked in the Statue of Liberty, and yeah, just the empty stairs when you kind of look through them. You know, the whole "don't look down" thing. Yeah, that holds true. Don't look down. Okay, so let's see. Tomorrow is National Pickleball Day. I have never played pickleball. I just don't. I guess I have not had the desire, the ability, just the opportunity hasn't arisen to play pickleball, so I have not. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know pickleball. Who knows? I'm sure lots of people. You know, it is a craze. Lots of people play it, but is it a fad? Is it going to die down? I haven't heard it as much already this year as I did last, because last year everyone was talking about pickleball, pickleball, pickleball. But I haven't heard about it. So I don't know. Maybe the craze has waned a little bit. Has the pickleball craze waned? I don't know. You'll have to let me know. I don't know about the pickleball craze. Like I said, I've not played it, so I don't know. It is also Moochie Day. I don't know what moochie is. It's a food of some sort. I didn't look at it yet, though. It looked like it was some sort of a little cookie thing, a moochie. So I don't know what a moochie is, but I want to try it because I like the name of it. It's like moochie. Happiness Happens Day. I didn't look at that. I figured, sure, it totally happens. Tell me this isn't a corporate suck up. Whataburger Day? Come on. It's not like a burger. It's specifically what a burger. I mean, that's, a corporate shill day. Like, all right, somebody paid for that one. Let's see what else. It is CBD Day. I mean, that has to be relatively new. CBD hasn't been out on the market it's been around, but hasn't been widely accepted. I've used some CBD balm on sore muscles. But yeah, I mean, is it a thing that it should have its own day, CBD? Next thing I have like Hemp Day and Mary Jane Day. I don't know. And then what do we have? We have a Dollar Day. I think it has to do with I'm betting it's because the dollar was established or something tomorrow. It has to be that, because otherwise, why would it be Dollar Day? Because it's not like it's, Dollar Day, everything's $1. Go down to the store and everything's $1. And it's not that there's a sale going on. I'm assuming it has something to do with, the U.S. Congress established the currency of the dollar or something. So I'll figure that one out and look at it for tomorrow. Let's see what else. It is Sleep Under the Stars. Sleep Under the Stars Day. Yeah, it's summer. You can do that. Sleep under the stars, go camping, do whatever. And the shooting stars, that'll be the 12th and 13th. That's the Perseids. It's been happening since like July 20 or July 17th, I think, and it goes all the way to August 23rd. But they're not in full peak until the 12th or 13th, and then it's like 100, 150 an hour. So even with the full moon, you should be able to get a chance to see one. And they said occasionally you may see a large one. Okay, I don't know how large that is. It's a grain of sand is what you're seeing that burns up in the atmosphere. So it's not like it's something, grandiose. It's not like it's the size of a baseball or a VW bug. That would be a little bit more exciting, clearly. But yeah, they're just grains of sand. That's what that burns up in the atmosphere. Just teeny little nothings, just going really fast. CBD Day was founded in 2018. Okay, I mean, I guess it's been around for a minute then. Interesting. That's a little bit further back than I thought it would be. And then I wrote something down here. I have no idea what it is. It'll have to be for tomorrow then. National Hemp Day is February 4th. See, I knew there had to be a hemp day. Well, you figured it out. See, you're able to do that because you can go ahead and jump on the computer easier than I can. If I do it, I have to look down and kind of look at what things are and okay, what is it and everything else. So to see what I forgot, it's Whataburger Day. Oh, it's National Frozen Custard Day. That's what that word is. Wow, man. I butchered that. Doesn't even look like frozen or custard. Well, the only thing, the frozen custard that I would normally eat is at Coors, Kohrs, Coors on the Jersey Shore. Makes a really good frozen custard. Always lines out the door. You can get that pretty much anywhere. That's the sort of I guess the custard of choice would be Coors, and that's where you get your jimmies. Not your sprinkles, but your jimmies put on that. So you get your frozen treat and get, orange and vanilla, or you get the chocolate and vanilla, or peanut butter and chocolate, and you get your jimmies put on it, the little sprinkles at Coors. Frozen custard stands, and they're everywhere. Wildwood, Seaside Heights, Point Pleasant, you name it. It's the staple of the shore. Okay, so 1955, Tokyo Telecommunications starts selling its first transistor radios in Japan. Later, this is the precursor of Sony. So, Tokyo Telecommunications. Interesting. I don't know how they got Tokyo Telecommunications to Sony, but there was a dude named Sony. Clearly, it's sort of like Marshall Amps and the Venn diagram. There's a guy named Venn. Who knew? John Venn. He had a diagram. Musical news. CCR, Creedence. Man, I am just tongue twisted today. Creedence Clearwater Revival released its third album, Green River. And on that was Bad Moon Rising. Full moon. Moon proceeds. Excuse me. Don't know what's going on. 1970, Christy McVie joins Fleetwood Mac on this day. Oh, I sneeze, no, I yawn. I'm going to be farting next. 1971, Apollo 15 returns from the moon. See, we got all this stuff. So, we're going to build nukes on the moon. We're returning from the moon. It's a full moon. Bad Moon Rising. It's a whole thing. So American Werewolf in London movie should be on later this evening just because it's everything, in that. American Werewolf in London, Warren Zevon, the whole bit. In 1980, John Lennon and Yoko Ono begin recording their Double Fantasy album. 1997, Garth Brooks puts on a free concert in New York City Central Park. I've never been to a Central Park free concert. Of all the things, I've been to lots of stuff in Central Park, but I've never been to one of those concerts. I always assumed they would just be, chaotic and out of control. When I used to go to New Year's Eve in New York City, This is way before those barricades were put up. I've never been there since the barricades had been up. It used to be that it was just a free-for-all. You just went wherever you wanted. You pop out of the subway and boop, you're wherever you want to be inside that melee. So if you want to get close, the trains would run right up to the edge. You could get out and you could be right in the center of Times Square. It was hard to move around. If you had to go to the bathroom, that was always a problem. But you would try to stumble into a bar or something somewhere, and that was usually the way to do it. But yeah, never have I been to Central Park for one of those things because I always thought it would just be a little bit crazy. It's just very hard to get around in a mass crowd like that. So I didn't do it. In 2018, Hollywood released its first all-Asian cast, which I'm surprised it took that long. 2018, Crazy Rich Asians. Wow, Crazy Rich Asians. I am fumbling over words tonight. I don't know what's going on. I will drink some of my... I don't have any liquid death left. Crazy Rich Asians. Anyway, and speaking of Crazy Rich Asians, the same year, China bans Winnie the Pooh movie, Christopher Robin, because apparently the leader was mocked by Pooh. So he didn't want to have that there. I found that to be interesting that Winnie the Pooh mocked the leader of China, Christopher Robin movie. Somehow. Which I thought was interesting to say the least. You piss off the great leader of China by having Winnie the Pooh. Let's see. Born on this day was Mata Hari, who was a spy. Gregory Van Epps. He was a 7-string jazz performer. The only reason I found Gregory Epps was because he was born in Plainfield, New Jersey. This was like one town over where I grew up. So there you go. Plainfield, New Jersey. Good job. 1974, B.J. Thomas. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Remember that song? Raindrops keep falling on my head. Oh, man. Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden was born on this date in 1958. Johnny Solinger of Skid Row was born on this date in 1965. Kristen Hirsch of Throwing Muses was born on this date in 1966. Carl Switzer. I had no idea who his name was. Alfalfa from the Little Rascals. He actually had a name. He wasn't Alfalfa. He was Carl Switzer. He was born in Indiana. Or Illinois. He was born in Illinois. He was born on this day. Alfalfa from Little Rascals. He, was a person. Also, 1960, David Duchovny of The X-Files, Californication, a couple of funny movies, was born today, as well as Charlize Theron, 1970, from Mad Max, Prometheus, and a couple other movies with her commercial for perfume, sort of one of these obsession. Just, you're not selling perfume, people. You have to have some description of it. It smells like what? What does it smell like? It smells like chocolate? Does it smell like cucumbers? What does it smell like? That's what I want to know. Tell me. People that died on this day? Oliver Hardy of Laurel and Hardy passed on this day. Peter Jennings died on this day. Lung cancer. Probably a smoker. You could see him in the newsroom puffing away. Good old Peter Jennings. Marky Post of Night Court. She was also in Something About Mary. I tried to think. I'm like, when was she in? What was she? Who was she in Something About Mary? I don't remember her in that. I went to Google it, but I ran out of time, so I stopped. Roger Mosley. He was TC, the helicopter pilot from Magnum PI. And of all things, he died in a car accident. For the guy who flew helicopters and was supposed to be, driving around with Magnum PI, he died in a car accident. Mr. Roger Mosley. DJ Casper, who did the Cha-Cha Slide, he died on this day. I was trying to think, is that turn to the left, turn to the right? I'm like, well, if that was him, then I really am not missing him. No, nothing bad and no ill will for the dead, but I really didn't like the Cha-Cha Slide, if that's the one that they're referring to. And also on the TV, look, Jack Russell, and not the dog, but of Great White, the band Great White, Jack Russell. So there you go. Remember, go make comments. I'm going to call those guys tomorrow and be like, hey, so, any word? And see if they're going to release any of that unreleased footage, or if that's just never going to happen. Which, I would prefer it did, but that's just me. But yes, so go to that and make comment. That's all I need you to do. Just make comments. So if you see this, you're not there, just go to the episodes of Day Trippin'. There's 9 of them. Just make a comment. Hey, more Randy, more Randy, more Randy. We love Randy, more Randy. Yes, that's the comments I need. And I'll go through and I'll comment on your comment. I'll try and think of something quippy and smart, as opposed to, apparently I'm none of those things tonight. I'm neither quippy nor smart. I'm just fumbling through my words and not able to enunciate anything. I have no idea what's going on. So I had an experience today at the post office I have to share. I go to the post office to go mail things. I had something to go drop off for eBay. Someone bought something that's memorabilia up on the eBay site for the station. And so there was a lot of cars outside. I'd go to the main post office, so the big one that's on Twin Rivers Drive in Columbus, Ohio. And the post office is hit or miss, okay? I don't know when the last time you've physically been to a post office, but it's hit or miss, to say the very least. There's days you go in there and, it is just aces, top-notch service, and they're on their game, and, they've got 2, sometimes 3 people back there, and it's great. There's other days you get in there, there's 1 person back there, there's a million people online, and people are in there talking about stamps. And I'm just like, whoa, hey, I don't care who's on the stamp. Can we move this along? Are you buying something today? Or are you just like, are you actually flying today? You just want to know about airplanes kind of thing. Today was one of those days. I got in there and there was only 2 people in front of me. I'm like, okay, this should be easy. I just have to drop off a box and I just need to mail a first class envelope because I have to forward a piece of mail to someone out in Washington State. So, the first lady's up there and she's just like, she's bitching about something. And I'm just like, okay, come on, and I'm just playing on my phone, looking at Instagram, scanning through Facebook. And, I'm just, this is taking forever. What's going on here? And she's just like, yapping away and complaining. I'm like, okay. So she finally leaves in a harumph. And the guy that's in front of me goes up. And I'm now, sort of aware that she's saying, well, just read the sign because, the internet's down. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking the internet's down. And that's what that lady was bitching about. That's why she can't see this stuff because the internet's down. And I'm like, well, you don't have what are you using, their Wi-Fi? The internet's not down in the world. Just their internet is down. But anyway, so part of the internet being down is now you can't use their credit card machines, okay? Which, now it makes perfect sense. So the lady was bitching about that. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. So this guy's like, oh, well, and the signage was not big. It was a blue piece of paper with black lettering on it. So it was really difficult to see. It was deep, dark blue paper with black lettering. I'm like, why would you make this so difficult? And it was small print, and I was like, our internet is down, we can't take cards. Okay, that's all you need to say. I didn't need all the other stuff that was there. So she's sitting there and she's talking to this guy, and she's just having a wee old time and a pleasant day because I'm sure she's had to deal with everybody up in arms and bitching at this poor woman. So this guy's, okay, does his transaction, and I'm acutely aware of this whole situation now when I'm paying attention to this, and it's $11. So he gives her a 20, and she goes, oh, I don't have change for that. I was like, wait, what? Wait, you're the internet's down. You can't take debit cards, taps, nothing. you can only do cash, but you can't even break a 20. It's not like he had it or 100 or a 50. It's a 20. It's like, the fourth smallest denomination of money we have. You got singles, you got fives, you got tens, you got 20s. I mean, there's a $2 bill in there somewhere, but I don't really have a whole lot of those circulating. She couldn't pick a 20. Oh, you're going to have to go next door to the passport office, do that. And the guy was like, seriously? And she had already done the whole transaction. So it wasn't like, she warned this guy ahead of time. And I'm just standing there like sort of dumbfounded, like, really? You're going to make us to go next door to go, you can't go do that? We'll all wait at this point. But you're going to make this guy leave the post office, go next door to the passport office and go ask them for change? So he sits there, again, they kind of jawed back and forth for a minute and he kind of left. And I'm assuming that he had to come back. I didn't see him because he was gone for a long enough time trying to get change at the passport office. So I went up and I gave her my box. I'm like, here you go. I just need a receipt for it. To scan the box. And, is there anything? Blah, blah, blah. Well, no. Cancel. Go send it. I was like, and I just need to mail this. And I said, okay, I'm assuming you can't break a 50. Oh, no, I can do that. I'm like, wait, you couldn't break a 20. All I have is 20s. So you can easily break a 50, but you can't break a 20. I was like, okay. I kind of was like, okay, well, I'll make it easy. I'll just give you a 5 because it's going to, I'm just mailing. I'm buying a mailer, which is like $1.82 and a first class stamp to send. I'm literally mailing a letter inside a letter. So it was under $5. So I just gave her the 5, but I just was kind of walked out there and the lady behind me she stood there the whole time, didn't say a word. And she just sat there like sort of slack jawed, like, and then she just left right behind me. She didn't even go talk to her. She just walked out. And I was just like, okay. And then everybody that was walking, the lady behind me, she goes, the internet's down, they only take cash. The internet's down, they only take cash. And she like told the 3 people that were walking in that 2 of them just stopped in their tracks and were like, huh? And just like left. So it was just, why stay open if you can't break change of even a 20, but I can break change of a 50. I just was, I don't know. I just find that so post office like that, internet's down. Don't take any cards, no taps, no swipes, no anythings. We'll only take cash, but we can't even break a 20. I can break a 50, but I can't break a 20 because apparently she had no 10s or whatever. But to me, I was like, the guy was charged $11. So what? She didn't have $9? Well, she had was 20s, but thank God she at least had a single to give me change for my 5. It was just weird. It was one of those things I felt like it was a Peter Griffith moment from Family Guy. You know what grinds my gears? It was a grind my gears moment. Because I just kind of walked out there like, I got what I needed accomplished. And it took a much longer, an inordinately long amount of time. But I was like, what was that? What was that whole experience? It could have been so much easier. I just didn't understand it. The inefficiency of it just really stuck with me all day because I just couldn't get over it. And then I had to deal with something similar. I went to Lowe's today. So if you ever buy paint, if you bought paint in any fashion reasonably close to the last few years, or even probably longer, if you get paint, you go and you get your little paint chip. Go like, oh, here's my color I want it to be. I want it to be this color. And on the back it'll say it's, morning dew or slush or, mountain gate, some, hallmark name for it. Then they go ahead and they take your gallon of paint, 5 gallons of paint, quart of paint, whatever it is. They go ahead and they put it under a little machine. They push some buttons and it makes that color. Or if you take them this color and you say, I want my paint to be this color, they go ahead and they scan underneath it and, they put it under the little machine again and it spits out the little colors and your paint is then that color. What they do then is they put a barcode. Damn it. I was not paying attention to that time. What they do though is they put a barcode on the top of the can of paint, which says the type of paint it was, like if it's a Valspar, or if it's a Sherwin-Williams, or if it's something else. I only know those two names because that's what Lowe's carries. Bear, I guess, is also like a Home Depot. But they put a barcode on the top of it, and it says what it is. Valspar, bonding paint, semi-gloss, eggshell, flat, whatever, and the number, the type of paint it is, and then the little barcode, like, G17 and R3.5, something. And that's the color. So you can take the can back with you and get another can of the exact same stuff. Or you take a photograph on your phone, like I would do, of the can right away. So I go back and say, oh, I need another 5 gallons of this exact color, because you don't want to have to color the walls and make it not match and whatever else. So I go to Lowe's, and I go to Lowe's often. I have an account there. I go there so often. I go there so often that people know me. Hey, Randy, how you doing? I mean, they know my name, for God's sakes. The returns lady is like, oh, nice to see you. I'm there that often, literally almost every day. It's sort of my daily haunt now. If they served coffee there, I would probably get coffee at Lowe's, but they don't. They do give me free bottles of water because I have an account there, a business account, so I get my free bottles of water and my bag of Fritos that I usually eat walking around the store. But anyway, so I had to go and get paint to match a wall that I'm working on. Now, the problem is this, that if you have eggshell versus flat, you have Sherwin-Williams versus Valspar, even if you put the same color scheme into it, guess what? It's not the same output. The color does not come out the same when you're done. When it dries, they're similar or not even close. Well, I had to deal with that today. Now, paint's not cheap, okay? A 5-gallon bucket of Valspar Reserve, you ready for this one, is close to $250. $250 for a 5-gallon bucket of paint. It's like $50 a gallon for not even the best stuff. The best stuff's like over $300 for a 5-gallon bucket of paint. And 5 gallons only paints a couple of rooms when you have to give it a couple of coats, especially when it's, drywall and it's sucking in that moisture. So I had to I bought a $235 5-gallon bucket of paint today, only to find out that it did not match once I started painting. I was like, the F. I'm like, wait, is that? No, wait, that's not, this isn't. I brought in, let's take a picture of that. They put the formula in, and they put the formula in wrong, which I don't know how they did it. The number matched. I looked at it, but then realized what they did was they put it in for the wrong style of paint. And then I had to deal with, this is where it got fun, because I had a custom paint color. I had to return this. And they were like, oh, we don't take custom paint. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, here's the problem. You are not saddling me with a $235 loss for your mistake. I was like, I didn't order the wrong color. I don't not like the color. I'm buying more of it for the fact that it's the color I need. But you guys screwed this up. So I wound up spending about half an hour having to argue with the manager. Finally got the paint person. I'm like, look, I was like, it's right here. Here's the photograph I showed you. It's on your phone. I was like, so show them your phone. You took a picture. You just put it in wrong, that it was the wrong style of paint. You put it in for Valspar flat as opposed to this Sherwin-Williams eggshell, which again drastically changed the color of this. So yeah, it took me probably from start to finish close to an hour to get this paint returned. And again, I had to go back and forth to the store to do this too. But again, I wasn't going to eat $235 because of their mistake. So yeah, that was just crazy. It really was. So yeah, I kind of just walked out of that and sort of like a daze, like, And the best part is I don't have the paint yet. I just left because I was so sort of like, I didn't even buy the paint. So I now have to go there tomorrow morning and do this all over again and get another 5-gallon bucket of paint because I just didn't do it. spaced. I walked out with drywall mud, some registers and other things, and just realized that when I got back and this evening, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even get the damn paint. I just totally spaced. I was so, sort of upset about the fact that, I wasn't mad. I was just like so intent on returning this because I wasn't going to eat $235. That I actually forgot to get the paint. So I had to do this now tomorrow morning and do this all over again, which is ridiculous. So yeah, so it's just one of those days where, the stars were not aligned in your favor. But you just have to keep going, and you just have to not really, you can't let it make you crazy. Even though I just wanted it to make me crazy because of the fact that it was one of those things where it was due to circumstances beyond my control. And I guess I've gotten to the point where I don't really, there's nothing I can do about it. I couldn't do anything about the post office. It just was there. And like I said, the lady was being about as cheerful as she could because I'm sure she dealt with a lot of people who were rather irate. And I just found it, annoyingly amusing because it didn't really affect me that much. It made me wait around a little bit longer than I needed to. And the same thing with the paint, it's like, all right, it happens. What are you going to do? Because I got my refund. But had I not, I would have lost my shit. Because there's no way I could eat $250, on 5 gallons of paint that was practically useless. Because I would have to go back, and if I had to use that paint, I'd have to backtrack and paint at least 2 rooms and a hallway to make it to where there's a good stopping point to make it match. Because it would have to go up like a stairwell to where there was a hallway in the stairs that there was enough lack of continuity where the wall wasn't connected. I could have done the wall this way and then going down the stairs, the entry hallway, and then the 2 rooms that were painted already with this new paint. But I had to think that way going, if I can return this, how much I'm going to have to go back and backtrack all this paint again, because I'm not going to throw away that much. But yes, there's just those simple little things sometimes can be absolutely just infuriating. But there's not much we can do about it, right? I mean, you tell me, how do I handle it differently? That's it. I didn't want to be Karen about it, because there was no reason to be. It would be unreasonable for me to be upset more so than I was. Because it wasn't anyone's, intentional, malicious, or otherwise, thoughtful, where someone put thought into trying to create an obstacle. It just happens. That's sort of the way it goes sometimes. Sort of, shit happens. So that was where my frustration lied in my day of getting out of the house. It was just that. So there you go. So it brings us to here. So being here in my little studio space of, 6-7 feet by 8 feet seems much more reasonable. What did I just hit? Why is it? Oh, wait. I'm like, why'd it go dark? I forgot to turn that camera on. See, I'm just flustered. I don't know what's going on. So that was camera 4 not being turned on. That was the GoPro. So I thought I was going to show the studio, but no, I didn't. I just showed you a dark space. That's my soul. Oh, man, what are you going to do, right? That's it. So it's Thursday, and there was no episode for this because they're out. They're done. So we need to get second season. So we have to. I implore you to go and make comment on Day Tripping with Stephen He and me, the co-star, because that's the only way we're going to get this thing to get picked up, and see if Heinz is going to spend a lot of money to do this again. And they can spend the money on me. I'm fine with that. I don't have 13 million subs like Stephen He, but hey, that's what this is for, to gain that traction so we can have all these subs. That's the whole point, isn't it? Otherwise, why the hell am I doing this? For my humor, my sanity? No, this is not making me any saner. Trust me. not making me saner at all. Working on my acting skills, absolutely. My comedic acting, like I said, I cannot speak tonight. My comedic acting skills are definitely getting their test run. What can I say? I saw Howard Stern's no longer going to be on the air. I guess they got tired of paying him $100 million for someone that they no longer thought was relevant. Guess so, huh? I don't know if I'd want to be Stern. I mean, sure, I'll take his $100 million. Pay me for 1 year. I'm set. Done. You know, I'm good with that. That's FU money, isn't it? I think, you know, if you're $100 million, psh, 10 is kind of FU money these days. You know, that's plenty. I don't need for much, you know. That would be insane. Can't even fathom such a crazy amount of cash. I'm sure I'd find ways to use it, as everybody would. You know, I don't think that's an impossibility. I was talking to someone today about probate. The person's house that I'm working on, they're dealing with probate. And I was telling them a story, and they told me a story, and I brought it up with somebody else later on today, and they told me the story about how their family completely got jacked up because of their grandfather passing, and he had 3 grandchildren, and he gave each one of them his equal share of the estate. And I guess one of the siblings spent the money very quickly on just extravagances, just ridiculous things, just, like big game hunting, and just like really ridiculous stuff that was just like, okay. And then was like, well, I don't have any money left, so now you do have to share what you have left with me, because that's what Grandpa wanted. It was always to have equal shares. And they were like, excuse me? And he was not kidding. He was dead serious about this. And apparently it completely jacked the family, where all the siblings don't talk to each other now. And they're all, completely just crazy. And I was like, wow. I was like, that is definitely a little bit beyond my capability to imagine being that sort of self-centered, that you would just kind of shove someone aside that's your own family. Like, no. You need to give me your money now because I spent all mine. We all started the same, but that's too bad because I spent mine faster. I don't know. I just think that that's ridiculous that someone would feel so entitled to that. And there was some interesting article about the AT&T CEO was talking about, workplace culture and loyalty and how it's gone. And I just kind of laughed. I'm like, yeah, my workplace culture doesn't have loyalty at all. I'm loyal to working at someone else's house and getting their jobs done for them. So I don't know. I just find it all amusing and somewhat depressing, that we've come to this state. But such is life. So anyway, tomorrow's Friday, so hopefully everyone has a lovely Friday. I'm going to get out. I've got to do some other things tomorrow, so I'm going to try and get out of the house and go do some silliness away from my normal working on the one house that I'm working on still. But that's about it. That's about it for tonight. That's all I've got. And I'm going to just depart and go eat the rest of my ice cream and go get myself another liquid death and go from there. So you should do the same. Go have some ice cream, even though it's not ice cream day. And there's no ice cream, but we have to have some mochi. Mochi. Don't know what it is, but I will find out. MOCHI. National Mochi Day tomorrow. And if I can find mochi, I will get it. And then I will tell you what mochi is. All right? Thank you. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. Mookie. It's Mookie? Oh, Mookie. Oh, see, I like Moochie better. Mookie. All right, fine. Thank you, Don. Tell me once again how things are. It's Mookie. Oh, Mauki. It's Mauki? Oh, man. But it's spelled Moochie. M-O-C-H-I. Mauchi. Mauchi. Mow the lawn. Mow the lawn. So Moki, Moki, Moki. Wow, man, that's my pronunciation of spelling from stuff is horrific. Mow the lawn. Moki. Okay. Well, I guess I'll try and find some Moki. It's not as fun. The Moochie sounded much better. I guess I could find some Moki. It doesn't seem as exciting to me. Sorry. Like mocha. Got it. Mocha. But Moki. 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 All right. Moki. Fine. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. Saved me once again from looking like an idiot. I do that fine just myself. As they say in Macbeth, life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Fade to black. Oh, I just need ice cream. I don't know what's happening. Just need ice cream.